Hey friends, it's your boy SVH coming at you with today's bowl of Saki by Hazrat Naihan for August 19th, 2024. Overlook the greatest fault of another, but do not partake of it in the smallest degree. Overlook the greatest fault of another, but do not partake of it yourself to the smallest degree. So, I think there's a couple different things that could be derived from this, but it teaches us, first of all, to overlook the faults of another. So even the greatest faults of another, holding judgment, passing judgment, looking at somebody differently because of whatever this experience might be or that fault. Um, you know, we need to look at ourselves and take ourselves to task, which I've talked about in the last couple of days with the Bolasaki as well. But do not partake of this fault of it in yourself to the smallest degree. So sometimes you find yourself, yeah, at fault of the same thing, but you have a hard time overlooking that fault in another. So that's kind of what this alludes to. But I'm going to share some commentary from Murshid here. For the wise who have risen above the ordinary faults of human life, it matters little if they find fault, but they are the ones who do not criticize. They, as a rule, overlook all that seems undesirable, and that action of overlooking itself prevents all the undesirable impressions from penetrating through their hearts. There is a natural tendency in man, as in the animal, to protect his heart from all hurt or harm. But this is the external heart. If man only knew what harm is brought to one's being by letting any undesirable impression enter the heart, he also would adopt the above mentioned policy of the wise to overlook. Overlooking the faults of others with politeness, tolerance, forgiveness, and resignation is regarded as a moral virtue in the East. Man's heart is visualized as the shrine of God, and even a small injury in thought, word, and deed against it is considered as a great sin against God, the indwelling one. In the East, when we speak of saints and sages, it is not because of their miracles, it is because of their presence, and their countenance, which radiate vibrations of love. How does this love express itself? In tolerance, in forgiveness, in respect, in overlooking the faults of others. Their sympathy covers the defects of others as if they were their own. They forget that their own interest in the interest of others. They do not mind what conditions they are in, be they high or humble. Their foreheads are smiling. To their eyes, everyone is the expression of the beloved, whose name they repeat. They see the divine in all forms and in all beings. The more the self learns, the more it overlooks the evils in others. It does not mean that the evil is not in others. It only means that one finds in oneself the enemy which one was seeing outwardly. And the worst enemy one has faced within outer life one finds to be in one's own heart. It makes one feel humiliated, but it teaches the true lesson. One finds oneself having the same element which one wishes to resist in another. And that last line really is the key to this whole teaching, that one finds oneself having the same element which one wishes to resist in another. So much of what bothers us in our daily life in another person is actually something that is a reflection of that same quality within ourselves. And it rubs us the wrong way because somehow it resonates with that same element in ourselves, and it creates a vibrational disturbance in a way. It's fighting for that same space that you're trying to vibrate in, right? And sometimes that creates a problem for us, and we look at others as a fault, or we highlight the faults of others, right, in order to make ourselves look better or feel better, or whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of this is what this one alludes to today, but Yeah, just wanted to share some thoughts on today's bowl of sake. I think this is a great one, a really wise lesson for all of us. Overlook the greatest faults of another, but do not partake of it yourself in the smallest degree. There's your bowl of sake, friends, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another.